Today, I didn't even let anybody know what we're talking about today. And Peter's coming, right, Sally?
Oh yeah, he's definitely coming.
All right, cool. Because I got stuff for him today. Because there's people
Yep.
that were asking questions that I want to make sure. So a little
People
bit
asking
change
questions
happening
about
in
money?
there. Somebody said changing. Elizabeth Jenkins said changing. She said changing to me.
There's no change in the federal government, dude.
Not at all. Not at all. Everything's just running like it always used to. So we want to talk about leverage and change or stuff that we're going to be reaching out specifically to Peter. Hopefully he gets here soon. Rafa, you're going to be on the hot seat a little bit. So you guys are going to be the main primary people. Complicated, Monica Cherry says. Rafa says, smooth knot.
Right.
Great. But today we're going to be talking about DOGE, and there's a couple things coming up. Rafa's got a session on Thursday. We'll be shamelessly plugging things as we do here, Todd Crane, don't we?
Never.
All right,
No
so
way.
We'll talk a little bit more. His change is happening, and this is Steve Van Rogel. He was the second U.S. CIO. Resist change and die, accept change and survive, embrace change and thrive. I got some good stuff for us for leveraging that today. And we're just looking for one word for doing business with the government. We got 37 people here. That's great. Love that. Come on, Zoom, help me out while we're doing this. Let's do this. Let's get to know each other a little bit. This right? I think this is right. There we go. All right, let's get to know each other a little bit. Have you been around for 20 plus years? Maybe you just started business just yesterday, or maybe you're someplace in the middle of that. And our panelists that we have here, I'll introduce everybody as we go along, is that with change comes opportunity. How can we leverage that change? Because and Jerry said this yesterday in the Monday roundtables. He buys into that, doesn't he? So how is DOGE affecting contracts? That's the first question. And we'll throw in grants since Denise Lawrence handles grants, but she also does RFPs. And where are the opportunities? How can we get ourselves positioned for the opportunities? Just a quick disclaimer, we're not affiliated with nobody except each other, apparently.
Hey, one more
government.
negative, and you can be a Teamster.
What's that?
If you speak in triple negative, that automatically makes you a Teamster, right?
So here, we're not affiliated with anybody in the government. And if we have any govies here, please let me know. We'd like to call you up and thank you for what you're doing with the government. But if you are here from the government, it's not an indication or endorsement or commitment to purchase from anybody else that's here. We love participation. If you have any questions, raise your hand, pop it into the chat or whatever. We'll try to pay attention. Love feedback as well. We do have handouts today. I'll get those in just a minute. And here's my promise to you. We will connect you with experts. There's several here right now. And we'll be discussing what works because we don't want you to do things that don't work. We saved somebody probably $10,000 yesterday, Rafael Marrero, for not going to the shady shysters that we affectionately or not affectionately are located in the Tampa St. Pete area. So that happened yesterday.
Oh yeah,
it was awesome. I was really thankful. But we do shameless plugs for the people that are good at what they do. We got Nora Bashor from Voltron. We've got Rafael Marrero from Rafael Marrero Company. We have Denise B. Lawrence. What's the name of your company now?
Denise B. Lawrence.
Okay, still that.
okay.
Don't change something that's works.
Operator, right?
And then we have Todd Crane, who helps folks with CMMC and other cyber-oriented things, right, Todd?
Absolutely.
And we have
Only
Sally
days that
White.
end in Y.
What's that?
I said only days that end in Y.
That's right. And Sally White helps folks with networking and covering people at events, right, Sally, doing that thing? You were away for you're just barely. Your seat is probably still cold from you being away for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's always a gift and honor to add value to wonderful clients and opportunities.
Love that. I'm Dave Lowe. I'm the CEO of ISI Federal. I also run GovBrief and Sam Radar, which we will be talking about shameless plugs for Sam Radar today, for sure, just so everybody knows what's happening. Another shameless plug is today, if you're not on Sam Radar, join me for sam.gov opportunity tutorial today at 1 p.m. I will be reminding everybody about that today, just letting you know that it's coming. And the reason we do this is because we can't do it alone. We all help each other. I don't have the gifting of either organization or writing, which is why I love Denise B. Lawrence, because she loves that stuff and helps with that. So where are we? We're in Q3, almost Q4, right, folks?
Yep.
Just about there. So let's talk about this. We have 112 days left before the end of the fiscal year. Why is that important? Who wants to throw out why that's so important?
Because there's money that has to be spent.
Gots to be spent,
To be spent.
right? They got to spend the money. DOGE was
Don't let
created.
Doge know.
What's that?
I said, don't let Doge know.
That's right. DOGE is created. We're also seeing the transitions to contracting to GSA. There's FAR changes that are happening, federal acquisition regulation changes happening. We saw since the beginning, right, Denise? We've seen contracts and grants shake up.
Absolutely. Very much so.
And check this out. This was the number from earlier when I did the FPDS event last week. So this is as of the beginning, I think at the beginning of the month. 21,000 contracts terminated for $1.3 billion, but that's not the whole story. That's only the dollars that have been put back. The stop orders are 20 billion plus and rising. If you don't know about termination for convenience, you can check out Brian Hebel's session on that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's a lot of opportunity from that. I'm just saying that federal employees are having a little bit of an issue, right? They're just trying to keep their jobs, right? So there's a lot of anxiety, right? But we still see 1.34 million contracts worth 127,500 billion. This is all since 120. So if you're hearing the news that they're not spending any money, I think that's fake news. Wouldn't you agree with that, Nora? Fake news.
Yeah.
All right. So
Follow the money train. They're spending somewhere.
they're spending someplace. And if they're cutting from one area, they're plugging stuff in someplace else.
Yeah,
So-
Robert in the chat said he's the Doge and tariffs are the best thing that's ever happened to his 30-year brand.
Oh,
Is that right?
Hey, Robert, can you unmute? And
I was going to say, do
Hold
tell.
on one
Yeah.
second. Where's Robert?
Robert Boyle.
Hold on. We're gonna make Robert.
Our friend from yesterday.
That's
Wait.
not the same
Careful
Robert.
when you open up the screen.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can, Robert.
Yeah, so we operate a brand that returns material directly back into service versus replacement. And the material that we return to service happens to be laden with steel. So voila, I'm saving money, and at the same time, we're breaking that supply chain that is now clogged up, where the manufacturers can't get a hold of steel when it costs a fortune.
Sounds pretty Doge friendly there, Robert.
Yeah, who knew I would be Doge friendly?
That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting us know. I'm gonna mute you back up. Feel free to pop in. We'll make sure we love that kind of dialogue, don't we? Don't we, guys? And Tristan says, "Spend it or lose it." That's beautiful. So here we go. This is why it is important to watch everything real time, because 95% is still not hitting sam.gov. I'm going to get into that in a few minutes. They're dealing with change. They're dealing with change too. So everything is shaken up. So because of that, if they're dealing with change and we come with some clarity like Robert did, say, hey, guess what I can do? I can help you solve a problem. And they need to solve problems and show progress to keep their jobs. Just like you need to show that you want to keep your contracts. A lot of folks have gotten a letter to say, hey, if you want to keep doing business with the federal government and you're an incumbent, you have to meet these restrictions. There's new restrictions. And Rafa was going to talk about that on Thursday a lot. I'm going to get the session docs. Actually, let me get them for you right now. It's going to take me a second. Sally, catch us up and stall for me while I am grabbing the session docs
Sounds
for.
good. Sounds good. I will be your rodeo bull rider clown. No, just kidding. So I've been going to a lot of conferences for TFN lending. You'll hear from Peter in a little bit, but TFN basically, if you get $10 million contract, you need to figure out how to buy your drones, and the bank won't lend you money, even if you have $10 million house in collateral, then Peter lends money to the opportunity. And so we first started out this conference season, Q3, Q4, with the Minority Business Conference, 8A conference. Can you imagine having a conference called 8A Minority Conference in this day and age? Anyway, there is, and it was very interesting. But it was a good conference. Then we went to Vets 2025, all about veterans, service disabled veterans. And as I mentioned on the last few things, there were some really interesting players that came out. I didn't see the normal matchmaking or a lot of the large primes that have these big booths, Northrop Grumman and RTX, formerly Raytheon, et cetera. However, some of the individuals were walking around. Some had paid their own way. I met one who was a contract manager. She was a program manager, and she was with the VA, and she actually paid her own way. So that was good. And then last week went to another government conference, NIST. And so what's happening is people are figuring out ways to navigate these challenges. I didn't hear a lot of grumbling. I mean, there's some disappointment and fear. Are you ready, Dave? Do you want me to stop talking?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
Okay. So one of the things that you can really do to maximize any situation like this is be out there and informed. And Dave will talk about how you get informed. ISI is a big part of that, SEM Radar, et cetera. Make sure you have your brand. Dr. Afmiel Murrow is a big part of that. Your proposal's in line. Nora connects on that. Your cybersecurity in tune. Todd will help you, and grants, which Denise will help you with. So the more that you can utilize these people that Dave brings together, the higher probability you have of connecting in times like this. And I'm noticing now that there are those people that are positive. They're finding ways around it. And then there are people that just weren't there. And so lots of opportunity right now, but forums like this help keep us positive, give us ideas, connect. Because like right now, we have 66 people. And if you do the math, and we're all force multipliers, and Davis will give us an opportunity to connect with one another, think about all that we can do to help each other.
Love it. And Rafa, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool. Because your video's
Your
on,
video's not showing, Rafa.
and you're sending me stuff, and I want to check.
He's having a bad hair day.
So if everybody can,
There he is.
let's see. I'm gonna make sure this works. If everybody can click that top link and make sure it takes you to something that looks like this. That's the session docs. Thumbs up if you can get to it. Rafa, are you not be able to get to that?
No, I was checking the GovBrief website. That's what I was the actual portal.
Huh.
And for some reason, I was getting a connection error. Again, it could be on my end, but just checking with you. Right?
Man, you gotta get yourself better connected. Is all I know.
So real quick, before people complain about this, you're not going to be able to open up the Word doc unless you download the whole folder altogether. So up in the top right corner.
Really?
Yeah, it's always been that way.
This Word doc?
Yeah, it'll say you don't have permissions. But if you can download the whole folder and it'll be in there.
Wow. I got to figure out what's wrong with that. Okay.
Todd Craig can help you with that. He's the man.
Every time we do these, like this? Someone always complains, so I'm trying to get ahead of it now.
All right, cool.
Good job.
Good to know. Thank you very much. And that's important this time. So, and that's actually, I'll show you what that is. It's a quick reference sheet that takes you to a lot of the information we're talking about today. So definitely download. So you want to download this whole thing. Good to know. Thank you very much, Todd.
And it's good to download the whole thing anyway, right?
Yeah, you should
Nothing
download
but good
it.
information.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. And includes, matter of fact, speaking of what's in there, we got the presentation, we got spending reports, we got the winnable opportunity matrix, which we'll be talking about a lot today. And capability statements of my stuff as well as everybody else's propaganda that's there. We'll make sure that you get what you need. And I want to start off this session by just doing a quick review for everybody who hasn't seen it, that the data that we're talking about in those reports, there's 3 reports in there that look like this. This happens to be fiscal year 2024 spending. It's a final spending report that we run on the 1st of January because the DOD takes 90 days, right, Todd? To do a lot of their reporting, which means that a lot of the stuff that you see right now in the current reports is incomplete. Not because we're incomplete, but because it's incomplete because they do that on purpose. I'm going to end that poll, by the way, so go ahead and fill that out, and I'll end it about 10 seconds. So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Jay wanted to know what happened to the some nut option.
There is no some nut option yet. anymore. I took the nut option away. All right. What he's referring to is the question in the poll. All right. I'm going to shut that down. Cool. And I'll share that in just a minute. So what we're looking at here are numbers that are, these two different systems, government systems, SAM.gov and FPDS.gov, if you're not familiar with them. Everything is relative to the number of offers received. So what that means is there's an opportunity that's out there and the contracting office receive quotes or responses to the RFP, that kind of thing. So let's take a look at these numbers on the left-hand side and what they mean. 81% of the contracts are either not reported or won. If you ask any contracting officer, Brian's not here because he's out on vacation, but he's a former contracting officer and he'll tell you just about every time, and I mean high 99% of the time, means won. 81% of the contract and 60% of the dollars have no competition. That is what the numbers tell us. Now, this is unprecedented. I tell people this all the time. Back in 2019, these numbers were about 36 to 39% going up and down, but around that amount. So we've seen a great deal of change in that. This is the second part of this. How many of you, thumbs up, if you believe that if you're one of 5 people responding to something, that's kind of a short list. Everybody agree with that? Thumbs up if you agree. You want to be one of the 5. I want to be one of the 5 or less. 5 or fewer means that we have, at least by the numbers, 20% chance to be able to win. Everybody agree with that? Now look at this. That's 93% of the dollars have 5 or fewer offers received. And we call that a short list, as I mentioned. Again, this is unprecedented. These numbers have never been this big. The delta between what hits SAM.gov and what is reported on FPDS.gov for fiscal year 2024, 7.1 million and change. So this is where I have to ask this question. Did you know about the 98%? Yes, and you want some?
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe you knew something was missing and you still want some. Or no, this is the first time you're hearing about the 98% and you still want some. Or maybe you don't believe me that there's 98% that doesn't hit the street, but you still want it. All right. So here's what I'm going to say. We're also going to talk about what's happening since everything is different since the 20th of January, right, Rafael Marrero?
Absolutely, sir.
And as a result, we actually are separating our reports, which normally just go across the fiscal years. But this is what it looks like since then. So we're 1.3 million contracts versus 54,000 contracts. And I'm going to, there is somebody that doesn't believe me. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to go to sam.gov and I'm going to tell you how you can do this for yourself. So you're going to go to contracting. You're going to go to advanced search. And there you're going to look up dates between fiscal year, the start of this fiscal year. Actually, if you want to do last fiscal year, you can. But I'm going to look up for January. Right? January 20th. We started January 20th to, let's just make it the 1st or the 31st, which is when the report ran. And we want to know about solicitations and combined synopsis solicitations. And we want them to be active or inactive because they happened in the past. 54,402. And that's this number. 54,622. Let me change that to the 1st and see if that changes the actual number.
How he
And
said
don't ask me why.
in for this.
It works this way sometimes. Let's go.
Robert, you have an open mic.
Who does?
Robert. You still have Robert.
I got him covered. All right. So there's your numbers. You can check those out at any time. And then you can go to FPDS and do the same thing for the same timelines. And you will find that this is how many contracts are there. Cool? You can look it up. I promise you that is absolutely true. All right. So in your handout, this is what's important. These pieces here. Because if we're not monitoring everything, because 95% still not hitting sam.gov. We have to watch all the contracting activity. Then we can engage, right? So follow this part on the bottom. We engage so we can build relationships, because relationships still trump everything, because relationships is what gives us influence. So we can influence the acquisition process, including what, Todd Crane?
Get our grubby little fingerprints all over it.
That's right. Get our grubby little fingerprints all over the solicitation and RFP. So we can also push our competitors away so we can win. And the question is, win what? Win what's not showing up on sam.gov. That's our objective. And somebody already said it. I think you said it, Sally. We got to get proactive, don't we?
We certainly do.
We got to get in front of these contracting officers.
And how do we do that?
Oh, I would say you should sign up for Sam Radar so that you can know who the contracting officer is and shoot them a little email and pick up the phone, a real little ringy dingy,
Yep.
and call those folks. So go
And
to
you can
Sam-
find out in real time. That's the
That's
big
right.
difference here.
That's true. And that's why we do the shameless plug for Sam Radar up front for everybody, so they have more time to be able to facilitate the sign-upage of it. All right, so there we go. I'm going to end this poll. I'm going to open up the first poll for everybody so you can see. Let's get to know each other. Oh, shoot. Did I do that? I did it wrong. I wiped out all of those questions.
No.
Sorry, guys. I did that. All right, I'm going to review the results for getting to know each other. There we go. Here we go. All right, getting to know each other. 12% are brand new, 38% 20 plus years.
Wow.
46% have already, Denise, have direct federal contracts, and 35% as teaming partners. A lot of times those are the same people because they're doing business with people and then beating each other up to win the business directly. And 65% have been here before. 35% are new. Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate that. Now, let's look at this other one. Did you know about the 98%? Let's see how many thought that. I can't share the results. Is that because the other ones? Oh, stop sharing.
You have to close that yet.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Tristan saying I feel out of my depth now.
Love it. 47% must have heard something we said before because they believe it. And this is the first time, 40% first time hearing it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Fantastic. We're going to give you a chance to try Sam Radar for certain. Write down this 10% attendee with a capital A. Saves you 10% for the first 3 months. Hot seat questions for the day. How is DOGE affecting contracts and where are the opportunities? Do we have our man, Peter Timbers, in the house?
I'm here.
All right,
Sorry
fantastic.
for the delay.
That's all right. So Peter, I'm the reason why I have you up first.
Yep.
First of all, Peter helps folks finance contracts. That includes payroll and other things, right?
Correct.
Right. And you have a unique way of looking at the market, and a lot of folks are having some challenges because of the shakeup in the government, right? There's a shakeup in the government. They need to have some depths of finance, don't they, Peter?
Correct.
So,
And to add on to what you were saying earlier, they've got to be, we always stress that they have to be proactive. Well, you've got to be more proactive today than ever before, which leads into, you've got to get aggressive in hunting all these opportunities, which you talk about all the time. So when we go in and we're working with a lot of customers, we not only we're forward-thinking finance people. We look out the windshield and we're going to finance you based upon opportunities that you're going after. Whereas the traditional lending market look in the rearview mirror and they're going to want to know, what does your financial status look like? Have you been in business for 2 years? That we look at that, but it really is immaterial. So if you're a new customer, if you're making money, breaking even, maybe losing a little money, don't have the experience, as long as you have got the management experience and you're going after specific contracts that we feel you can handle, we will be a game changer for your company. I can't stress that enough. We will be a game changer for your company to help you build your portfolio and drive your revenues. And we're going to give you a letter of financial support that'll say to your potential customer, should you win the business, that we will be there to support you with a receivable line of credit and for payroll financing, which is huge because most federal government contractors, when they get a new contract, let's say it's 100 FTEs, they're going to say, wow, I may not be able to afford the payroll the first mid-month because I don't have I don't have a line of credit or I don't have a bigger line of credit. Those worries all go away because we're going to step in, fund that contract, and now you can bring on that contract, whether it's 10, 20, 50, 100, 500 FTEs. We will be there to support you, which is as I said, a game changer for most of our clients.
So one of the reasons why I think this is important is because when you have gaps, like DOGE will come in and they'll put freezes on, right? You may have to cover that for a period of time. And if you don't, and banks, by the way, they don't understand the federal government. They understand a little bit of it. But to your point, you could have $1 million company win a $10 million contract over 5 years. And you go to the bank and the bank says, hey, no, we're not even, they're because of their risk, their aversion to risk. So that's why I love what you're doing. And when we talk about what's happening in DOGE, how are you seeing DOGE affect those contracts? Are you seeing some of those gaps develop and people have to cover some of those gaps? Because I know I have.
We've seen a lot of that. And the other thing is happening is that when they're stretching out payments, I'm talking about the federal government. When you have a bank line, the bank will say, we will give you a line of credit, but their eligible collateral is only 90 days, meaning that if you've got outstanding invoices to the government and they flow over 90 days, they automatically come out of your collateral base. So not only are you being shut down from the government side, but on the flip side, the bank is kicking out all that collateral. So now what's happening is you potentially may violate your covenants with your bank because your ratios aren't in effect. We anticipate the third quarter of this year, a lot of traditional companies that currently have bank lines are going to be asked to find alternative lenders to fund their portfolio. So we're seeing a lot of that happening right now.
And you had something that you mentioned right up, and that is you do a review and then you offer letters of financial support. How much does it cost for you to do the review and provide a letter of financial support?
We don't charge anything for any of those services.
Not a blessed thing.
We don't charge anybody to get a line of credit with us. The only time that they incur a cost with us is if they actually borrow funds. And the additional thing that we also do, we're a caring lender. We really care about the clients that we bring on board. And 9 out of 10 times, we give them additional advice because a lot of them have started going down the wrong path, financing with the wrong entities where they're going to be charged exorbitant fees. So we do a lot of educational consultation with our clients and really get, sometimes we'll put the line in place and then we're doing some other stuff to sort of correct their whole financial structure. Oh, yeah. So we do a lot and we got 35 years of experience. And I say to a potential customer, once you come on board with us, I guarantee you are going to love us.
And speaking of that, if you would like to have, give me one sec, a free funding review, sign up. It doesn't cost you a blessed thing. And you get a free letter of support. So let us know. Let Peter know if you want to sit down with him with that. I will point toward one of the
David,
things.
let me just interject something. They get a free lender of support because they're coming through you.
Drop the mic.
Well, there you go. I love that. That makes me feel good,
That's
Peter.
That's a $395 that is voided because they're coming through your organization.
See that, people? I have pull. I got some pull, people.
Mhm.
And he always answers the phone.
And,
He does
Dave,
answer the phone.
we were
Talked
actually
about
just talking about
last
this.
week. Yeah.
We were actually just talking about this yesterday with Jerry about how, you know, the government's really consolidating with DOGE, right?
Yes, they are.
They want to find these vendors that can go across agencies. So if you're used to playing in this tiny sandbox, well, now you're going to have to compete over all the agencies, and the only way to do that is to have financial backing like that of Peters.
Yep. Love it.
You know, it's so hard to grow as it is, but you know, at the end of the day, you have to have money in the bank. That's the number one cash eater for companies is growth.
No
And
doubt.
so having the backing of TFN and Peter, that is critical.
Love that. Thanks for the shout out, Todd Crane, for Peter.
Thanks,
and thank
Todd.
you, Peter, for the shout out for me. Love that.
There's no plugs here.
No plugs, no shameless plugs. So Todd, throw in on top of that. So we know that there's finance challenges with that. What else is DOGE doing?
Well, DOGE, I mean, I feel like you're leading me down a certain. DOGE is doing a lot of things, but the route I think you're leading me down is, you know, it's all about cyber right now. And you know, we're seeing not only CMMC on the DoD side, but we're seeing the new FAR CUI rule. If those don't mean anything to you, reach out. We can chat. But basically, the same requirements that are happening in the DoD are going to be happening across all executive branch agencies. I want to be specific here. On top of that, even things like OTAs. I know Nora is really big with OTAs. There are specific guidance they pushed out for, you know, cyber requirements on OTAs, which typically don't have any of the legacy FAR rules with it. And so it's, you know, nobody, you know, we're just going to see more and more cyber requirements and regulatory requirements coming to all these things because, you know, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And especially now with, you know, naming and shaming our enemies, right? We don't want to give our enemies all of our sensitive, or the government doesn't want to give our enemies all of its sensitive information. So
you mentioned OTAs, and Nora, you know a little bit about this. What is Nora still here?
Yeah,
she's here.
Okay, cool. There's only so many images I can see at one time. All right, so Nora works with Voltron. Voltron does AI for RFPs, very specific to RFP generation, although it does other things too, right, Nora?
Yeah, so RFPs, OTAs, any type of solicitation that you need to respond to, you might need a company like Denise's to help you with the strategy and the approach. You would need a company like Todd's for cyber business operations. You need Rafael Marrero's company for marketing. You need Dave's company for outreach. You need Sally's company for the connection. So everybody here kind of plays a different role and a different piece of the puzzle. It all will culminate in your proposal, whether that proposal is an oral presentation, a PowerPoint deck. We're seeing that with OTAs now, an actual formal RFP response. So there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, but you got to bring it all together and push forth that into your final submission, which is how think about proposal, whatever form it takes, as your final sales document to the government. And then you want to use AI to help you do that in the best manner that you can.
Yep. And Nora's got a session coming up. Let me look that up real quick on GovBrief.
I was just
know it's
looking at
there.
it this morning. I
I know it's
redid
there.
it. I redid
There
it.
she
It's
is,
got a
June 17th.
three-part framework.
So, and this is a little bit different than, because she does work for Voltron, but she's also got a ton of experience with RFP writing. So she's talking about what you want an AI system to do, whether you're using ChatGPT or something else, right, Nora?
Yep. I just revamped it. So we were giving this presentation last year. It was really well received, but now with the advent of agentic AI, I just redid that whole presentation I got to polish it up a little bit, but we're giving the first one next week. I'll be super excited to see you guys there. It's got a 3-part framework to help you diagnose what's going on in your current system, and then a 2-part framework for how to evaluate either the current tools you're using, or if you're looking at buying a new tool, how to evaluate that.
Gotcha. So that if you're interested in that, that's NAR's session. I just popped that in there. And Sally White, what are you hearing from people talking about DOGE?
So, a couple things. There's a lot of surprise and shock out there in that people are definitely losing contracts, even large primes. At the same time, there's a lot of hope and opportunity because if people start following where the money goes and what's the focus on the administration, they can sort of lean into that or partner to lean in that. Number 3, people are still coming to conferences. The last 3 conferences I've gone where I've represented TFN, they've had more signups than ever because people are looking at solutions. And that's why the 57, 65, we had up to like 70 today, individuals here have something to offer, whether you can go to a conference, or you have a representative go, or you can go to a virtual conference, or you're checking out Sam Radar, seeing who's buying what's in your NACE code. There are definite opportunities because money's still being spent, even though things are changing around. So it's super exciting. You can really do a lot to, get the ROI on what you're doing by leveraging ISI, talking to Dave and his team, getting it on Sam Radar, using the team here, going to LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn is basically free, unless you have a LinkedIn Navigator, which I do, but it's basically free. So if you have an on-brand LinkedIn page, and you make sure that it's highlighting your superpowers, you can bypass all the mere mortals by connecting with executives who can, resonate your vision and influence what you're doing. So lots of opportunity out there.
Cool. And Rafa, just in time, I want to introduce Rafa because he's doing something to talk about DOGE on Thursday.
Yep.
Rafa Sessions talking about GovCom branding and what you have to do to belong and align with DOGE, aren't you, Rafa?
Yep. That's exactly right.
Give him a little taste of that and some of the things you should not be doing right now.
So first and foremost, right, we're a full scope business to government communications consulting firm, right? We handle strategic communications, whether it's crisis management on the PR side, all of your written materials, all of your graphic materials, we design them. We have an extraordinary design team, and we focus on procurement readiness, right? So we handle all of your capability statements, your capabilities briefings, your websites, everything from your business card to your DSPS profile, SAM registration, and we also handle small SBA certifications, right? So we're turnkey and full scope when it comes to procurement readiness. That's the part that we handle, and we do it, I believe, better than other people in the market and better than anyone else. So what we're going to offer up in the webinar this Thursday is we're going to talk about the specific terms that you should be highlighting in your content, both on the on-screen SEO and on your collateral, right? Which words to really underscore and highlight and include in your messaging, right? Along with using the 6 C's, what I call the 6 C's of business to government contracting and marketing to really, really stand out in a really competitive and crowded marketplace. Right now, you want to align some of that terminology with what DOGE is looking for and what other government efficiency experts are looking for. We want to make sure that comes out, that pops in your visuals and in your capabilities narrative and all of the terminology that you use for your blogs, et cetera, right? That's what we're going to be offering up. And it's real world expertise. We're great at what we do. We've won multiple awards in communications, not just in business development. We've been on the Inc. 500, but we've also won prestigious telecommunications awards such as the Telly, right? We've won a couple of Tellys. We've won the American Communicator Awards, AP Awards, and also Cannes Film Festival, right? So we're very, very good at what we do. You should check us out and check out our work.
Yep. Love it, man. And I'm going to ask this question. If you think you have your marketing Trump ready, and that includes DOGE, it's not just DOGE,
right?
It's all the rest of the things that you want to be in alignment with. If you don't, make sure you talk with Rafa, because I know he gets together with folks all the time. Mm-hmm. So now I got a question. So I do want to say this. While you're filling that out, the Fed, when we're going and asking people for business, We're going, setting ourselves up for business. So I just want to say this. This is what the feds think we look like. Just saying. Hey, I want a contract. And here's the other problem. And we do have really good capability statements, and we have everything else that we do. We have decks and things like that. We think we look like this. That's the problem. We have to look like we belong, and they have to know that we're ready to do business with them. So join us there on Thursday with Rafa. And here's the thing. I'm going to give away a book. It's called Who Moved My Cheese? I'll send it to you. Just need your address if you win. There it is. Not Jay. You can't win, Jay.
Jay, I already sent you a book 2 months ago.
I should have banned Jay before that. All right. So that is the right answer, though. So Jay ruined it for everybody. I'll have to give away a book.
No. But hey, listen, Jay's materials are on point. In case you haven't seen Jay's new and improved business to government branding, you should, right? He's got some rocking business cards that are just outstanding, right? Folding tent type business cards with QR.
I wonder who laid those out.
I just know this really cool Cuban guy from Miami.
Right. So that's awesome. Man, check out Jay's stuff. That's good stuff. So here's the solution. We need to be relevant to them. We need to help them solve a problem. If we're not solving problems, they're not going to hire us anyway. And we have to have those DOGE requirements, align with those, be proactive, and be the SME, and educate and influence the audience. And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And show them that you can handle the work, which includes what Peter does. Removing the risk level on the decision makers is your most important thing. So we're going to talk about how to make yourself relevant and how you can be relevant right now. Where's the rest of my slides? These go to reaching the federal stakeholders on GovBrief. And I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to go right back. Let me go right back here and say this. We did a case study on leveraging DOGE, literally using DOGE in the title to reach federal decision makers, federal employees. So I'm going to end this poll in 3, 2, 1. Last second stragglers. All right, got them all. All right, we got all those for you. Now I have a question. Do you have a solution for DOGE? Yes, and you want to reach decision makers? Not sure, but you still want to reach decision makers? Or maybe you don't think that your products or services are DOGE ready. So I'm going to go through something which deals with educating your audience as a subject matter expert. Rafa, how important is it to be a subject matter expert?
It's fundamentally, it gives you instant credibility and vetting in the eyes of those who make key decisions. Government is typically risk averse. They want people who are experts, who really know their stuff, and they're not going to make them look bad. That's very important. Because their reputation's on the line, right? So you need to become an expert. You need to be seen as an expert. You need to be vetted as one. And the branding and positioning around your image and your companies is very important.
Couldn't agree more.
Stress that enough.
If we're going to educate and we're going to work to gain influence, we use GovBrief to do it. And this is this is what we learned. So here's the problem. Back when things started, and there was a memo that went out, which is still in effect. Oh, by the way, I make a living. My company, my whole team of people, our whole job is to facilitate communication between Govies and you. And they say, oh, you can't talk to us. This is what it says. The freeze maintains in this place from multiple agencies. This was as of February. But I had 2 clients that were willing to take a shot. We didn't know what true was. We didn't know what real was. It's very difficult today to know what real is. So iAdvantage, they do a lot of work with EPA and USDA. You can see some of the big companies they work with, and they're reaching out to do data collection and data management for agencies. So we put it out. This is actually the title, Meeting DOGE Requirements for Data Collection, Compilation, Communication, and Reporting for Projects and Studies. Longest title we ever used. And we're like, I don't even know if anybody's going to show up. So this is what we did. We connected data collection and efficiency. We actually used it. data collection efficiency in our marketing materials. Here are the statistics. We had 318 registrants from 39 agencies. 185 govies showed up from all these different agencies. Now, you might be saying, okay, I'm saying this is like you being at an event like Sally White goes to and having a breakout session where 185 project managers show up to hear what you have to say. And here's what they had to say. They say, hey, we needed this. And not only that, 49 of the attendees said, hey, they gave us some additional information on what was happening within their agency, and 20 follow-up meetings. And you can see, hey, this is working. Demos. I want to be involved in a pilot. These are things that are never hitting sam.gov. And that's exactly why we did it. They showed up because they have the need. We sifted through them. They're looking for solutions and they don't have a current resource. And even if they have a current resource, they may be restricted from using them because they've been doged out.
Been doged out.
And the fact is, Jamie Blackburn, you can talk to him anytime you want. One of my favorite graphics. I know you like this one too, Todd, getting your fingerprints all over the scope of work. And that is what it's about. You can see both of these sessions are free on GovBrief. You can see both of them. One of them is the meeting DOGE requirements for data collection, compilation, communication, and reporting for project and studies. And the other one is for oral fluid instant drug testing. Two totally separate environments. Both of them worked very, very well. It set both of them up as subject matter experts. You can do the same thing. And if you think you have something for DOGE, make sure you check that out. Now, I do want to ask the second question for everybody. Hang on one sec. I want to gather this. Where's my questions? I lost my questions, folks. Hold on one sec. Where's my second question? Let me go back to the beginning. And then I'll be able to get my questions.
You still have one open.
I do have one. I do have it open. I'm going to ask the question about, how do we win? There it is. Where are the opportunities? So, like I said, with GovBrief, that's how you're finding the opportunities. There's 20 opportunities that are never hitting the street that we just found out for data collection. Where else can you find the opportunities? What are you seeing out there? And where are the opportunities? Sally, what did you see when you were out in your journeys?
Sure. So there's a lot of companies that are billion-dollar companies that do a lot of things that may not necessarily be your Raytheons, now RTX, Northrop Grumman, and the like. And so connecting with these individuals is imperative. However, we don't know who to connect with unless we have data. And so what I do before I go to these conferences or pretty much anything is I consult with Dave and Rob, who can build me a spreadsheet. And they don't talk about this too much, their consulting arm, but they can actually schedule time with you and build a spreadsheet of all the list of individuals that you can connect with, even if you're not on SEMradar, or you can go through SEMradar. So there's a lot of opportunity out there, right, Peter, that we ran into that Peter's now funding that isn't your traditional primes and your traditional individuals. So lots of opportunity. Make sure you get your ROI on conferences by planning. Make sure your LinkedIn page is beautiful and fabulous. I'm happy to do a free consultation, as everyone here who's on this call will, to kind of give you some ideas on how to level up and use these resources.
And Nikita, you just put something in the chat. Can you pop open your mic for just a second? Nikita Van Kirk, she's a rock star, by the way. Tell everybody what you just said.
The federal procurement database system is an opportunity finding place that most people don't look at. If you look at the past contracts that are in your NAICS codes or in your, I do it by group, then you look at what's soon to be expiring and or already expiring, and there's a contracting officer listed. You reach out and say, hey, is this coming up for bid soon? If you can get in on the P card purchases, you don't even have to have it published again. You can just get it.
You can just get it? That's not fair.
Why
That's
not?
totally not fair. We love that, don't we, Nikita?
Yes.
Awesome.
And I also just want to add, David asked me to publish the events because I go to a lot of them. So I put all the events in a link that's on my website of past events. And a lot of you all have contributed to the events. We can't possibly know everything that's out there. And so if you have other events you'd like me to add and share, happy to do that.
That's awesome. Love it.
Dave, I just want to add something to what Sally just said. We were together at Vets 25 in Orlando 2 weeks ago, and I've been doing this for 35 years. I've never seen as many companies that engaged us right off the bat as far as potential customers. In those areas that I'm working with 7 companies right now that we met at the conference, they're all in cybersecurity and IT. But they're being very aggressive because they anticipate awards. But I've never seen an environment where they're aggressively searching us out.
That's
And
awesome.
it helps when Sally and I do these conferences. I give away money at our booth.
Literally, folks.
If you got extra money to give away, you can
It
go
literally
ahead.
does. People don't believe it's real, and it's a great way to get people to bid. So, have you got your free money?
That's
And
the
they
best.
don't believe it's real.
That's the best tchotchke you can get.
The best.
Love it. I appreciate that. That's good. That's good insight. Denise B. Lawrence, you still there?
Yeah, I
Awesome.
am here, of course.
So you help folks with grants, obviously, and RFIs and RFPs. With opportunities, they may show up on sam.gov, where you can certainly join me today at 1 p.m. to talk about opportunities that hit there. But there's also grants.gov, right? So you'll see opportunities there.
Absolutely. And we've seen some new things in the National Science Foundation, is not as restrictive as the past innovation, high technology, but regular technology opportunities. USDA has some opportunities for folks who are in the agriculture space who want to sell their products globally. There's some money open right now, which is exciting. And also, Dave, someone mentioned about why have Sam Radar if sam.gov doesn't have all of the opportunities on it, but that's the reason. And what we're finding on the contract side is if you're on Sam Radar, you get to see what just happened, what awards just happened. And you also get to see who it is that did that, what buyer did that. And you can reach out to them and find out that they have more money to spend as often, and we are able to, in real time, very quickly get you a package together to respond to that. So this stuff is happening really, really quickly, and it's super exciting. We live on Sam Radar for our clients, and we're able to respond. And oh my gosh, don't even get me started on sources sought or request for information where you have like 90 minutes to respond. Well, we can do that for you and make sure that you are one of the top 3 folks that get in where you fit in. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. And this is what she's talking about. This contract for over $750,000. Number of offers received, not reported. Why? Because there's a BPA call. And they didn't have to notify anybody else, but the money's still being spent. And you can reach out to Michael Fox, could be Michael J. Fox, but we don't know for sure. And then you can just do a simple email. And if you sign up for Sam Radar, you are going to see things that don't show up on sam.gov. You're going to find you're going to find buyers that you never knew, and you're going to find businesses that are winning in your space that you didn't even know you were competing against. And that's a promise. If you don't see that in the first 7 days, something's not upright. You're going to find those. And you mentioned this. Sources sought, pre-solicitations. This is all since January 20th.
That's
and what
right.
about the 1.3 million contracts as opposed to 54,000 that showed up on sam.gov? A lot of this is happening in your space. You got to do this, right? Right, Denise? You
That's
gotta
it.
pay attention.
It's a no-brainer. It's an investment that must happen.
Yep. So there you go. So monitor the activity. It does the work for you. You don't have to do the research. It churns it out and it shoots out an email that just looks like this and says, hey, you want to get in touch with Michael Fox. Why? Not because he's famous and has a DeLorean, but because he's spending freaking $750,000 with somebody that you don't know. That's why. Cool.
That's what-
And you can also reach out to him and say, hey, I saw you awarded this. How do I win next time?
Yep.
And get him to, because it's already awarded, it's no longer competitive, and he can give you all the inside track.
That's right.
That's right.
Spill all the beans.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, guys, we're going to get you guys out of here. Thank you very much. If you have any last minute questions, we'll stick around for just a couple minutes. I'm going to thank Rafael Marrero for being the rock star that he is. And if you want to be Trump ready, if you want to align your stuff with DOGE, come to the GovCon Branding Lab, and that gets you access. That gets you all the information that he's going to be sharing, as well as access to the Monday roundtables.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what else can I pop out here for everybody. I want to thank Sally White for showing up here today. She always does. She's a rock star. She's also going to be helping run the next one, along with the rest of the folks. Tomorrow, I'm blowing this popsicle stand. I'm going to Europe.
Yay.
I'll be there for a month. So
Look at
Safe travels.
You're going to be.
We miss you already.
Yeah,
I
can
know,
tell.
right?
I can tell. So Sally helps with networking. Todd Crane, love you, man. He helps folks with his gray beard cybersecurity. If I could say it, say it for me, Todd.
Graybeard Cybersecurity.
Thank you very much. Todd handles and helps with that. If you're interested in CMMC, he's the man. We have Denise P. Lawrence, who's also a rock star in grants
Yes.
and RFP writing. We love Denise. She's got several things up on GovBrief. If you'd like to check that out, you can see. You just did that a couple weeks ago, right?
Right. And we're doing another one next month.
Next month, we're going to do it
Yeah.
again.
Mm-hmm.
We got Peter Timbus, who gives away money and then
What?
helps you fund your contracts. How could
What?
you not love Peter?
Come on, Peter.
And if you would love,
Zell me some of that money.
Yeah, you don't even have to travel to give away money.
Exactly.
that's right. We'll open this up. If you like professional help, not the kind of professional help you need from listening to us for an hour, but maybe some money involved in there. GovBrief, highly recommend you check out GovBrief and the folks there. Did I thank everybody? I want to make sure I thank. Oh, I didn't do Nora. Where's Nora?
Here.
Hang on a second,
There
Nora.
she is.
I lost
Yes,
your.
she is.
I lost
It
you.
was me.
Hang on. There she is. I got you. So Nora, appreciate you being here. Voltron, you're going to be doing your session next week, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And I think I got everybody.
I'd like to invite everybody to go to their reaction and clap their hands and thank Dave and his wonderful ISI team, because
Yeah.
what Dave does for all of us, in addition to having a platform that we can come to, I mean, I probably connect with 100 people a week because of ISI. Dave's doing some really interesting things moving forward that allow us all and our colleagues to connect. Just a really big heartfelt thanks to you, Dave,
You're welcome.
and Rob, and
Oh,
your
man.
wonderful team. Thank you.
Everybody's buttering me up today. It's fantastic. I love being buttered. Just saying, love being
Okay.
buttered. So yeah, I will be in an hour right now. I'm going to be lighting this up. It's the SAM.gov opportunity tutorial. I know it says 1:30 p.m., but that's not right. It's actually at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you can check me out there. There's all the rest of my stuff. Rafa, appreciate you. You're going to be on Thursday, right?
Yes, sir.
I just
All
dropped
right.
it in the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you for doing that, Todd Crane. And if there's anything else you need from us, we love to help. We this is kind of the way we operate. We're a little loosey goosey here, but we're all solid professionals. And I will say this. If you sign up for the Monday roundtables, or actually you sign up for any of these things that Sam Radar, you get access to Monday roundtables, and you might just have a mind-blowing experience that happened yesterday. Rafa, you don't know. Robert.
I heard it through the grapevine. Oh, that travel. Believe me, that
the
news
pure
travel.
essence of Robert. The pure essence of Robert.
It was the essentials of Robert.
The bare
The
essentials.
bare essentials of Robert.
We got the full Monty.
Oh, yeah.
It was priceless. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a good time. Yesterday's Monday 10 a.m. session was really, really good. I pulled out some.
They're all really good.
It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. That's all I know. We have a little bit of fun. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. And I will try to pop in potentially from overseas.
And
Sorry, Dave, we got
the
you.
roundtables did $440 million just in the roundtables last year.
Yeah.
So we're committed to doing at least 500, right, Dave?
Yep, we are. We're already at over. I was talking with Rob, and he did the statistics just for this month, and it was like 80 million this month
Wow.
with Sam Radar members. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
just the roundtable in and of itself is worth the entrance criteria.
That is true. I agree. And you'll be in the EU in August, and my DISA contract, Robert. Really, I'm going to be in Greece. So.
Tristan wants to know, how do we get access to the roundtables, Dave?
You get access to the roundtables by buying something.
So you can either join Sam Radar, or you can go to Rafa's or Nora's Sam Ray or a GovBrief presentation.
But if you're going to do signing up for Sam Radar, make sure you do this.
The 10% attendee?
10% attendee, bam.
And Dave, you didn't mention the guarantee. I know I snuck it in the comments, but...
Well, I say this. If you stick with Sam Radar for 2 years, we'll guarantee that you get 10 times what you invested in Sam Radar. We'll give 100% of your money back.
That's a guarantee, guys.
Who
That's
does
guaranteed.
that?
Now, there are some rules, like you have to come to the Monday roundtables once a month.
Yeah.
And you have to interact with people, you have to get proactive.
Follow instructions.
Follow the instructions. And if you go to the 100% guarantee, here, let's do that. Thank you very much, Todd. We're going to go right there right now.
Dave,
then we'll get
framed
everybody
it wrong. You framed it wrong. You said you have to. You should have said you get to.
You get to.
You get to come to the Monday roundtables.
You get to come. I like that. You get to come to the Monday roundtables, and you have resources. We did this with Gil yesterday. Saved him $10,000 just like that.
Bam.
Gil will tell you. We operate different. We spent an hour with him. We were going through stuff for Sam Radar. He had some opportunities that were real and some that weren't. And we helped him carve it out. That's what we love to do. We all love to do this stuff. I'm telling you, everybody here, superstars in everything that they do. Love every one of you. Denise, Sally, Nora, Peter, Rafa, Todd, love you all.
Comments, Robert Boyles.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
All right, see
Boy's a big bowl of wrong. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.